Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I'm back with the Microtech Exocet. This is the newest offering in Microtech's lineup. It is a very small kind of novelty knife, honestly. As you can see just by the scale of my hands, it is oddly shaped with other oddly shaped features. And yeah, that pretty much sums up this knife. But anyway, to get into it, this is an OTF, which Microtech is known for. I think the intention or the function of this knife is a money clip. You can see by just how wide it is, and it gets a pretty generous gap there, as well as how thin it is. It's extremely thin. It's very, very malleable. Very easy to slide, obviously money up in there or whatever you feel like holding, or your pocket if you're going to be carrying this. However, if you are carrying this like a normal knife, it is going to stand out because you will have damn near an inch wide pocket clip just poke out of your pants. But anyway, getting into it, it's an aluminum body just like all of Microtech's OTFs, and just by looking at the knife here, it got a very nice aesthetic to it. It's weird looking, but it's cool. It's got definitely some unique milling style in the handle here, with this kind of I don't know, it looks like almost like construction work, like the reinforced beams, or I have no idea what I'm talking about, but hopefully someone else will understand what I'm trying to get at. Just has a different look to it than most Microtechs. It still has the similar side jimping to the Combat Troodon, almost identically. You can see it's at the base, at the top, and then also concentrated in the middle of the handle. It's got a glass breaker just like all other Microtechs, but while it does come to a point, it's not near as a point as, again, bringing up my Combat Troodon, this kind of the current glass breaker that they used, let alone the old one. So I'm sure you could break glass with this if you really wanted to, but I imagine this is more of a lanyard, intended for lanyard use than anything else. Moving on, you can see that it still maintains the proprietary screws, although in this guy they're really, really tiny. Like I don't know what maybe the UTX 70 has these size screws. I don't have mine still, so I can't whip it out, but also the slide button is probably from a UTX 70, very small, much more angular than, again, the current slide. You can see that while it might be the same height almost, the ramp size is significantly smaller, meaning that the angle is a much stiffer angle, which allows you to do this, which, my thumb's kind of sweaty now that I've been rolling around, but you can really fire this guy off quickly if you want to. The slide is definitely some of the loosest of the Microtechs that I've handled, maybe the UTX 70, but very quick, very snappy, big fidget factor with this guy. You can also see that just kind of jumping around, we'll move into the blade. It's got the billboarding, which Microtech does quite often. It's made of 204P steel. I got the black blade, which they just recently came out with more color combos, but I got it for Black Friday because I got it from Southern Tactical, I think. Southern Tactical Blades, and they had like a 10% off site-wide, because you will never find Microtechs on sale, never. They have never been on sale. They don't discontinue models. If they do, they just go away. They don't do a special sale price or anything like that. Yeah, so this is the black coated blade, black handle. It's got the same signature blood grooves that Microtech puts on their OTFs, especially their double edge. Double edge knives all have this kind of similar blood grooves, and the blade stock is remarkably thin. It is just minimal. I mean, I'd be curious to see how much thinner this is than almost. I'm trying to line these up in the camera, but I'm looking the wrong way. Just look at that. It's insane. Maybe a quarter or half an inch of just this Ultratech, the blade stock. I mean, it's remarkable how thin this guy is. So this thing would probably snap in a heartbeat. But given the package that it's fitting into, it makes sense because they can't make the blade much thicker than this and still have it be kind of a pocket clip, or excuse me, a money clip kind of deal. I imagine if once it gets thicker than a wallet, people are gonna not want to carry it for that purpose. So just a weird knife, honestly. I ended up getting this for my dad for Christmas because he had seen one at Blade Show and he had just kind of been interested in them and he loves Microtechs. And so I took advantage of the sale price and bought this guy for, I think the retail is, sorry, let me look. The retail is $265, I think. I got it for $230, so I was pleased with that. $260 is too much for this. I'll say that right now. Usually I kind of go through price and value at the end of the video, but just throwing that around, at $260 is way too much for this. I think $260 is more than a UTX 85, which is a much better knife. So if you're gonna pay that kind of money, you might as well get a UTX 85, or I'm not sure what UTX 70s run these days, but it's probably around $250. So too expensive for this by far. Is it fun? Yeah. Do I like it? Yes. Is it mine? No. But does my dad like it, which was a gift, so that's what matters. And the answer is yes, thus far. He's carried it the past couple days since Christmas, so he seems like he likes it a lot, which is good, and I'm glad. But let's get back into the video, the nitty-gritty. We can move into the specs, and the specs are amusing. Overall length is 5.5 inches. Well, just a hair over 5.5 inches. So if I pull out the Combat Troodon again, and we match up the class breakers, you can see that the overall length of this knife is the size of the handle of a Combat Troodon, which is hilarious. So 5.6 overall with 1.96 blade. Not even 2 inches, which means it is California legal. Just like the California legal UTX 70s, the blade must be under 2 inches for an out the front automatic knife. So if you live in California and you don't want to buy a UTX 70 that's California legal, I guess you could get one of these. So there's an option for you. Let's see what else we got. Handle length is 3.6. So again, it's very small, which is obviously the goal of this knife, to fit in your pocket if you're not going to carry it with the clip, but if you're going to be using it to hold some money. And the weight is 2.7 ounces, which is pretty small for, or pretty light rather, for an out the front, especially full metal construction here with aluminum. So I imagine this weighs about the same as a wallet that most people carry. So if you really don't feel like carrying your wallet and you want to start using this as a money clip, then I guess they've done their job. I guess it's succeeded in what it was designed to do. So there's that. It might be too expensive, but hey, it's a Microtech, so you know they're gonna charge you whatever they want because they know you'll buy it. Yeah, it's I feel bad because I don't have much to say on this guy. A, because I haven't carried it. B, because I don't know. Like it's a standard Microtech. It's got Microtech's very good fit and finish. There is one thing that I noticed after handling this guy a little bit, and if we start by looking at the show side of the knife, if you will, you can see that this midline milling, this raised area in the handle, matches perfectly with the grinded or the two-tone part of the blade right here. But if we flip it over, you can, obviously the pocket clip's in the way, but if we look, we see the midline raised area of the handle, we go up, you can see that the two-toned area of this blade on the backside is uneven. You can see how it kind of leans to the left right here, just a little bit. And ever since I saw that, I cannot get it out of my mind. And I'm not sure if it's just how the flats of the blade were ground, because it looks like, and honestly I can't tell because, you know, there's a little bit of play and everything out the front, but I can't tell if it's just how the flat was ground or if it's the actual blade itself. I'm trying to look at the line here, but let's see if we can get it closer to the camera. You can see that the midline of the blade, being a double edge, is perfect on the show side. On the lock side though, maybe it is not lock side, but I'm using folding knife terms. On the back, maybe it is the blade grind, I'm not sure. Anyway, small detail, which honestly would be more fitting of a Benchmade, if I'm honest, but I haven't handled many other Exocets, so I can't tell you if they're all like this or if I just got a wonky one. So whenever I see one though, I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for how the flats of the blade are ground and how they match up with the back of the knife, or on the back of the knife. So just a small fun detail for this knife, this single one right here. But let's move into a size comparison. And speaking of Benchmade, I will whip out the Benchmade bug out here, and I'll do my best to line these up end to end so we can, I'm gonna ignore the glass breaker. We'll also start with the Spyderco paramilitary tube that I just dropped on the table. And as you can see, we got a nice little stair step pattern going on here. And I would say the PM2, the handle is almost as long as the entire length of the blade, or of the overall knife of the Exocet. Blade wise on these guys, if we move them back, we can see that blades of the PM2 and the Bugart are fairly similar, with the Exocet being around 2/3 of those blade lengths. So these are two very common knives, that's why I brought them out. But if we move into maybe a little bit less common but more apt for the Microtech brand, we can whip out the Ultratech and the Combat Troodon. And my Combat Troodon does not like to sit up straight, so we will try and line these up end to end with glass breakers, and maybe nope, he's not gonna behave. Of course not. Anyway, I'll just hold it like that. We can see that, as we did before, the Exocet is the entire size of the Combat Troodon handle, with being close to that of the Ultratech as well. Blade wise, we can see that, again, similar to the PM2 and the Bug Out, the Exocet is just around 2/3 the blade length of my Ultratech here, but closer to half on the Combat Troodon, and the Combat Troodon is a massive knife. So anyone who is familiar with Microtech will know that the Combat Troodon is the second biggest knife of their offering, excluding fixed blades. So, but I mean, I don't know, I struggle with this knife. I don't know if I like it, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I already said it's not worth $260, so there's that. But it's a novelty thing, and you know, for a collector like me, I will probably hold on to a knife that I don't use. I've tried to stay away from that, and it helps me find other cooler knives, but I'm sure at some point my collection will once again be partly comprised of knives that really don't have any purpose and that I should not keep. So with that being said, this is my dad's knife. I got it as a gift for him, so I will not I have no control over what happens to this knife, or whether it stays or goes. So I just have the privilege of being able to use his to review and let all you guys know what I think about it. So with that being said, I think that's about it. I don't have any other pressing thoughts on this knife. I was a little bummed because the new colorways they've made for these have actually been kind of cool. They've really extended the full range of their normal color line to the Exocet. So I don't know if I had the option. Maybe I'd go with the red handle and the black hardware and black coated blade, or same but with a turquoise handle. I really love their turquoise. And with that, I think that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. This has been the Microtech Exocet.